What's going on, Guardians? Brian here for Ginger Prime, and we're going to do a combo video. First, we're going to dive into the TWAB this week at Bungie for 827, going over the new slug class reveals, especially their names. Personally, really excited for my Warlock Shademinder. I'm just going to put that out there right now. And because you guys are asking, we're also going to talk about what I want to see from Beyond Light, going beyond essentially the raid and the content and strikes and dungeons, and essentially kind of the content perspective, and really kind of focusing in on more systems and my personal hopes for quality of life adjustments with this game. Now, obviously, because that's an opinion and you might not be here for that, you can always check the playhead below so you can see this week at Bungie, and then if you want to stick around for my opinion, great, but if you don't, I get it. Thanks for, hopefully you found this video informative. So rather than wasting any more time, let's go ahead and dive in, and then we'll talk about what I want to see from Beyond Light. So anyway, this week at Bungie, we gave a chilling new look at Stasis. Quite literally, that's what they did. It feels just like yesterday that we're getting our first look at it. And today at the virtual Gamescom, we took a deeper look and introduced you to the Hunter Reverend, the Titan Behemoth, and the Warlock Shadebinder subclasses. And there's quite a bit to chew on. And how do the new grenades work? What about the melee attacks? What are those things that the Hunter just threw? And this is just a start. Over the next few weeks, they're going to be releasing additional information and details via dev diaries and updates on Bungie.net Stasis page. The first update is actually planned for September 1st, so set your calendar recordings remindingly. So honestly, really excited for that fact that we're going to start to see more and more information hitting pretty hard as we barrel into November. I'm going to wonder if they're going to pace it a little bit differently, namely because of the delay going into November in this case, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, an early patch note preview for coming for 2.9.2, which isn't slated until September 8th, but this is going to give you an idea of what is going to happen. The Solstice of Heroes, the Ornament Glows. Shortly after Solstice went live, we became aware of a difference between how the Universal Armor Glow bundle icon was depicted and how visually performed in the game. And after investigating the issue, we felt that the difference between them was too vast, and we revisited the glow intensely in these ornaments and enhanced the in-game appearance to match the icon as closely as possible. Now, regarding sleeper nodes, in addition to the Destiny Content Vault details being available, which we covered here on the channel a little bit ago, we're seeing many players return to content released in the early years of Destiny 2. Some players are hunting triumphs while others are focusing on rewards. One of these rewards is the unique emblem players unlock after collecting all the available sleeper nodes introduced in Destiny 2 Warmind. Due to the way that the sleeper nodes were created, we are unable to completely remove the possibility of receiving a duplicate override frequencies, but we are making some improvements to greatly reduce the odds of receiving a duplicate. The following tips will help you avoid duplicates and acquire those final elusive nodes. When combined with resonant stems, it is very unlikely that the resulting override frequency will unlock a node in your area. For example, if you need to unlock a node in heatsink, you should leave heatsink before creating the override frequency. Destiny 2 has an internal checklist of nodes if you have unlocked, and the checklist is separate from the count that you see in game. And it's prior to this fix that the checklist would frequently be cleared. Clearing the checklist is the reason duplicates were so common, and going forward the checklist will never be cleared. Note, if you create an override frequency for a node that you have opened in the past, you should open the node again instead of deleting the override frequency. This will allow you the internal checklist to be updated and help prevent future duplicates. In different terms, the team has created a form of bad luck protection for sleeper nodes, but the tracking is starting fresh. So get hunting and you'll be unlocking the unique emblem before you know it. Now, assorted fixes and changes. They fixed an issue where player spawn effects would freeze in Gambit. They fixed an issue where the ADS and the Cold Denial Season Pass ornament was different from the base weapon model. Redrick's broadsword is now available to be reclaimed from collections. And note, this will be locked to the first role rewarded when completing the broadsword quest. Spider will begin offering 3 weekly wanted adventure bounties up from 1. They fixed an issue that prevented an exotic perk on the Merciless Fusion Rifle from triggering. And we have a few more general bug fixes slated for this update as well. Prior support will have a preview of bugs and resolved issues following the full list of patch notes when the update goes live. So see you in 2 weeks for that. Now, over the past week, Destiny player support has been working with various at Bungie to resolve a few high priority issues. First up, dishing out some rightly earned bright dust to players that completed the Solstice bounties. And second, a fix for one of our more notorious error codes, and here are the details here. So in hotfix 2.9.1.3, we resolved an issue where weekly and repeatable Solstice of Heroes bounties did not grant bright dust rewards upon completion, and we have since granted bright dust to the first wave of all affected players, and then we'll be sending out a second grant in the near future. Now, regarding the error code Tapper, we have resolved an issue that's causing players to encounter code Tapper when they try to launch Destiny 1 while they have a Twitch account linked to their Bungie.net account. Now, current known issues that we've continued to investigate, various known issues. Here's a list of the latest issues and reported on our help form. Some EAZ weekly challenges did not show up in the weekly reset. Some Bungie reward codes were not working in the EU Bungie store, and we're investigating turtle errors in Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 for players on CenturyLink. For a full list of the emergent issues in Destiny 2, you can always check out the known issues article, players observe, and the help forms on Bungie.net. Sound and String, to come to our attention, we issue a duplicate honorable mention last week in the show of Tex Machina weaponry. While we hardly blame us for celebrating some awesome content like that, we need to make up for it this week and have an extra winners for the show follow-up. On top of the list, we have some great musical talents to display, and hope you enjoy. So you can check out these musical talents and these honorable mentions for This Week in Bungie on This Week in Bungie. Link will be in the description below for you guys if you want to do that. If you want to take a chance to aim a glory, submit a video to the creations page. If something you've created is still pending approval, don't worry, submissions can take a bit of time to process, and we've got a lot of footage to get through. If one of the videos belongs to you, congrats, you've now made it in your Bungie.net profile, and the description of said video can be where we can send your prize and emblem. Summer is fading, and the days are getting shorter and even a bit darker in our neck of the woods, and as evening chill is beginning to creep into the air, and is the perfect mood for stasis subclasses to enter the realm of Destiny 2 and our first steps into Europa in November. Just a few short months stand between you and Beyond Light, and that feels like that time is probably going to go pretty dead gum quickly, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm going to go and just click on the stasis page, because here I want to sit here and talk about what I want to see from Beyond Light. And like I said, this is not going to be me focusing in on, like, I want more raids, more dungeons, more strikes. Like, of course, I want all that. And I've obviously pre-ordered. Like Destiny for me is, while it has disappointed me in the past, it's crazy to think that I've been playing this game for 7 years, and I absolutely love it, and I hope more people do too. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the guides that I've been putting on the channel, and as always, I'm here to hopefully help answer those questions, and if you're looking to team up with any kind of people, we've got a great Destiny community in our Discord. Now, all that being said, and Discord's an interesting thing, because this kind of brings me to what I want to see. Like, what do I really want to see in Beyond Light? And as Luke Smith kind of talks about how Destiny is an action MMO, well, if that's true, we need more tools to better make this an MMO experience. And not in the MMO negative way, but an MMO that a game that helps bring people together easy, in much easier ways. When you look at the guided games, when you look at LFG being outside the game, like, we need better support for social tools in the game itself to help people find each other so they can team up together and they can go do content together. One of the things that we even have an opinion piece on this channel talking about matchmaking. I think the reason why people want matchmaking is because you have to kind of go outside of the game if you want to find these things or be a part of a community. And so it's just easier to say, like, yeah, find me a match with somebody so I can do this content I've always wanted to do, even though it's challenging. And to kind of protect that experience, Destiny needs to have looking for group and different tools to kind of help measure that, to help you get connected with people and be able to try and challenge and do these kind of things. It does take an effort as a player to kind of put yourself out there as a risk, right? But and I'm not saying this is the one and only fix or thing that would help add content or quality to the game itself, because right into that, better clan support. And I would even say I'd love to see an API integration into Discord. And if there is already one, please let me know in the comments below. Like, I'm always learning things, especially as the different tools that we as a community use with this game. But I would love to see better clan support. Clans, quote unquote, are crossplay in a way, but there's still a limitation on them to manage them. It's still difficult. There's really not much with that clan tab that we have access to in the game currently, other than a couple of weekly challenges. And as it levels up for the different seasons, that's all well and good, but it would be really cool to have that. And honestly, if I could have my clan connected into Discord, whether so that way from a chat perspective, you kind of have, whether people basically wherever people are, that would be really great. But then to have that social aspect already tied into the game, that would end up going, I think, above and beyond personally. I love what they've been doing with like the Twitch integrations. That in and of itself is massively huge, really exciting to see. And I think hopefully we'll start to see more of that. But having more integrations with where gamers are would be a real key factor. Now, as for what I would like to see in the clan itself, I'd love to see more ability. Like, I'd love to see where people are online and what system they're playing on. Right now, like you can see, your clan's your clan. So whenever I log in on like Xbox or PC or Stadia or whatever platform you're on, I don't. Not on PS4. That's the only one I'm not on. It would be cool to see your entire list and see, hey, it turns out my friend is over there on Xbox and he's a part of the clan. Let me just go pop in and join him on that platform. This would be kind of a stopgap until we get true crossplay added to this game next year. But, hopefully that kind of clears up and gives you some insight about what I'd love to see. I'd love to know what you guys like to see in terms of the clan and more. I'd like to see maybe even officers, like ways to manage that, kind of almost like a shared storage or resource pool or something like that. Who knows? Like, it depends on if they added that, they'd also have to add systems that required or needed those kind of things, but we'll have to wait and see what they ultimately do with that. I think it's been over 3 years. It's time to get an update to the clans. I would love to see a ping system. I don't know if anybody here has played like Apex Legends, but that ping system is so smart. I think ping systems in multiplayer games need to exist, because I think that helps the non-verbal communication. So especially when you're saying, hey, I see a weapon over here, I see a drop over here, or I see the switch over here, go check it out. And then that feeds that information to the other players. It helps dramatically. And I think New World somewhat has this as well. And I'm seeing that whenever like I'm on the map with my friends there, like everybody has their own color scheme as a part of them in the party, thus allowing it easy to see like, oh, that's my ping. So I'd love to see that in Destiny. So it's like, hey, here's my flag, here's your flag, and then being able to kind of play around with that. I absolutely need to see a better seasonal pass model. No more FOMO for me as a part of the season pass. I would love to see, I'm fine with FOMO in like a 3-year cycle. I think I can get behind that as an understanding, because if I didn't do it in 3 years and had the opportunity, that's kind of on me. And this is debatable. Like, this becomes such a conversation of nuance, because everybody's going to have a different kind of starting point and entry point and, thought on that. So I'm always game for that. I'm not saying that what they're doing right now is the right choice in terms of like planets getting disappeared. But at the end of the day, like, the seasonal pass for the last year, the FOMO each season has driven me away from the game. It has put me more, I've had more breaks, I think, in Destiny this last year outside of this current season than I have in the past. And it is just because it's like at some point I'm like, well, there's no way I can catch up now. Might as well go play another game and have fun with that and not stress about it. Like, FOMO doesn't make me work harder. FOMO makes me leave. And I don't know if anybody else is like that, but that's just me personally. I know this exists. I know this next thing exists in the game, or at least in web pages and APIs and tools. But I'd love to see loadouts brought into the game. We have stasis here, right? Stasis is a whole new way to play. They've got a whole new way of kind of customizing your character and your skills. However, when it comes down to it, I'd love to be able to set my subclass, my weapons, and all of that, and be able to easily swap between those in-game itself. Am I going into PvE content? Am I going into PvP content? Sure, when you're in a loading screen, it doesn't take that long, but as loading screens get less and less and less into the next generation, I would just love to be able to say, hey, I'm in PvP, this is what I'm working on. Hey, I'm in PvE, this is what I'm working on. And obviously you can kind of change that up, but I love to see that. I love that about Final Fantasy XIV. Gear sets are such a huge benefit to that game itself, because you have all these different pieces of gear. If you only have 1 or 2 things you're changing, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But in Destiny, you've got armor, you've got mods, you've got, like, there's so many things about it that it would just be great to be able to say, equip all A, and name the loadout. So that way, anyway, that's just, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that in Minecraft Dungeons, by the way. That would be a huge addition, in my opinion. And then finally, I want to see more stats in the game. I want to really overanalyze my play experience, and I know it exists on the website. My whole point is that when it comes down to games like this, big games like this, we shouldn't need, or the game shouldn't drive you into other sources. This has been one of my complaints with Final Fantasy XI, and the argument that some, like, if you play Final Fantasy 11 and you don't have the wiki open, but then you argue that it's like adding in some form of quest log or journal would break your immersion into the game itself. It's like I think that already is broken. I think if you have to play, if the only way to play a game is with additional third-party tools to really enjoy it, those things need to be brought into the game. And I think one of the things that Blizzard has done well is they usually look at that. When you look at the end of the day, regardless of how you feel about World of Warcraft, sometimes those mods that become like needed end up being made into the game itself. And I think that's one of the things when you look at all the tools that Destiny has created, all the tools that players have created, at some point those need to be brought in. And same thing with stats. Like Bungie's already created these stats. They've somewhat started to add them into your kind of like banner for this season, and you can only pick one. I want to be able to go into my character, especially in a loading screen, and look at my performance, analyze my performance. What's my weapons? What's this and this and this? What do I die to the most? I'm a baseball nerd, so that's where that all comes into play. So those are the things that I really want to see. And I wanted to really kind of try to avoid, like I said, more raids, more dungeons, more strikes. Honestly, I'm really excited about the story. I honestly can't wait to see where we go from here. This has been building up for a long time, and the gameplay is so good. I do think that what we're seeing, it could totally break the Crucible, but with things adjusting and moving forward, it could be a kind of sometimes a kind of a chaotic thing. Like, remember when Stasis first came out and it was nuts? Yeah, that was cool. It was crazy. It was a great time. Anyway, that's just my thoughts, and I appreciate you guys for being here, for hanging out for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed. And let me know if you guys got any questions, comments, or concerns in the comments below. If you're new here and you feel like hitting that subscribe button, if you feel like I earn it, I want to make sure I earn it. But let me know. I would like to welcome you officially to the Soul Nation. But anyway, for Ginger Prime, my name's Brian. Thanks to all of the channel members who keeping mid-roll ads off this video. I appreciate you guys. Your names are on screen right now. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you soon. Take care. This video is sponsored by me, Ginger Prime. Hopefully you'll check out my podcast channel, Ginger Gaming Radio, which we have lots of guests, lots of great conversations, and even more highlights. Links are in the description below. Let me know what you think. Thanks.